T3 Media.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Through the Medias, T3 Medias. This is the home for fans, by fans. Am I saying that right? Movie views, by fans, for fans. I think that's the correct way of saying it. Yeah, I remember. I remember this time. Welcome, guys, to another week, another Thursday. We're gonna go over a couple topics and discuss them with you guys. Give you guys our thoughts on it. But joining me today on an epic, movie-tastic, spectacular day is the one and only Giovanni. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We just saw a new movie today, and we're going to talk about it right now.
Right, guys. Remember, whenever you're watching us live, and we'd love it when you guys join us live, send in those questions, those comments, concerns. If you want to help support the channel, send them in the form of super chat or donation. It would really help us out. It's going to help us to grow. Help me put some gas money back into this guy's pocket, because I really owe him big time for driving all the way out here and helping me out doing this conversation. But we're going to talk a little bit about Moon Knight, a little bit of news with Sam Raimi, a little Tobey Maguire, a little something there. Like you said, we just saw a new movie, so we're going to give a quick review on that, a non-spoiler and a spoiler talk. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, don't worry. I'm going to give you the signal of when we're going to do our spoiler discussion on it. But before we get into all that, guys, if you want to catch the show, if you can't catch it live, you want to catch it through the podcast, you can always check us out on podcasts. And I don't have the right graphic up, so sorry about that. So, if you want to become a member, check out our exclusives by becoming a YouTube member. You can donate to us on Twitch. Like I said earlier before, if you want to send a super chat during the show, send those questions, those comments in, and or through streamlabs.com. And we'll talk about those things during the show. And we also have a podcast too, so just look for that. So since I didn't have the graphic on that. But real fast, Moon Knight. So we were supposed to have a full kind of like discussion about Moon Knight, and you didn't get the chance to watch it, the second episode.
No, I did watch the first episode, and the first episode's very good. I really enjoyed the new direction Marvel's going with this.
Right.
And this morning I tried to watch the second one, and I did not have enough time, so I only watched like the first 10-15 minutes of it. So so how much to talk about?
It won't be much of a conversation. All I'll say is that I did see it, so I enjoyed episode 2 more than episode 1. I won't go into full details on it. I thought we were gonna have a full conversation on it, but since you didn't see it, I won't spoil it too much. All I'll say is that it is, as much as I loved episode 1, episode 2 was better, and it was funnier too. I told Joy, I said, you gotta watch episode 2 because she loves to laugh. And it was funny in the right places. It was a little bit more humor in it, but it was way more action, even drama. I'll say this. Without giving any context or anything like that, I'll say this. But Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac, there was a tense conversation there. Even more so than on episode 1 with the whole thing with the scarab. Give me the scarab. I won't ask again. Remember that moment?
Yeah.
There was a moment there with Oscar Isaac and him again. It was way more tense than even that. More in your face, the close-ups of. I can't say more without spoiling it, but you'll know what I'm talking about. The camera was right there on him, as close as it is on our face right now with this conversation, and it was so tense. So there's as many questions that was answered from the episode 1 that were answered in episode 2. By the end of episode 2, there's even more questions that are now just like what WandaVision did. Every time they answered all our questions from the previous episode, they bring in new questions. What the hell is this? So I think you're gonna love it. But if you guys want to have a conversation with me about Moon Knight, you can put it in the comment section, and I'll get back to you later on that. But I don't want to spoil Geo too much on it. So you can put that in there with me. Put it in the comment section below, and we'll talk about that. And then when we all get caught up, hopefully next week we'll have a deeper conversation for episode 3. But yeah, send it in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about Moon Knight episode 2. And yeah, let's have a huge conversation about that because I can't wait to talk with everybody about this. Me and Daniel, I know we got to have a conversation about it because I think he said he loved it too. So let's move on to the next topic of conversation, which is Spider-Man. Spider-Man. So Sam Raimi was in an interview. I forgot which.
I think it was Fandango.
Was it Fandango?
Yeah.
And the conversation about would he like to do another movie with Tobey Maguire comes up, and he has something interesting to say. Do you have the quote of what he said?
So Sam Raimi on if he would return to direct another Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, and he said anything is possible. Really, anything in the Marvel universe, any team ups. I love Tobey. I love Kirsten Dunst. I think all things are possible. But the next day, Sony's official Twitter mentioned this, and they said, well, this has been fun for our mentions today. Friendly reminder, we're just a social team. So anyone who's tagging Sony with this news, that Sony's Twitter is not going to tell you anything. If anything's going to be announced, they're really going to announce it. But I mean, who would not want to see Tobey come back in Spider-Man 4? I mean, we all love Tobey, and his performance in No Way Home was just, it really brought it brought joy to everyone who loves Spider-Man. And I really think that there's different universes that we could also explore in the Sonyverse. I don't know how Morbius is, but
you haven't watched it yet either?
No, I haven't.
Me neither.
But I
Daniel has.
Daniel has? Did he like it?
He liked it.
Okay. Well, I think there's so many possibilities. Even with Andrew, if there was a Amazing Spider-Man 3, and I mean, honestly, I would not mind a Spider-Man 4, even though I don't know if Tobey would be up for it.
I honestly think he's done. I think I feel like they've had what's called the Swan Song. I feel like everything that was missing with the Amazing would have been in Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4. This No Way Home was the send-off. Was the you get a little bit of closure with these guys, which could open up to something more if they're willing to do it. But at the same time, if they don't, this was the
nice little bow on the top.
Exactly.
And send it off.
Exactly.
Although I do know that Andrew Garfield doesn't care. Like, he would love to play Spider-Man no matter what, and he said that multiple times.
Yeah.
And if there was a
what?
chance,
You're gonna give me money for this?
Yeah. If there's a chance he's gonna come back, he will come back.
Right.
As far as Tobey, I don't know. I feel like he is getting a little old to play such a role that demands him to be, physically fit, or I feel like he did what he set out to do with No Way Home. I don't know if he would like to return or not. We don't know. No one's really heard of what Tobey thinks about this. Until then, we have, our thoughts are in the air at this point.
Hey Daniel, how you doing? I see you in there. He says hi everybody. And Joe follow back says Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4 first. Which would you prefer? That's a good question. Which would you prefer? You only have 5 seconds to answer this question, sir, and it better be the right answer. You have 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Amazing Spider-Man 3.
You would rather Amazing? I'm right there with you,
Yes.
man. Amazing Spider-Man 3.
And I feel like a lot of people are going to agree, just because
I agree.
we know that the Amazing Spider-Man movies weren't really the best, but it was.
Whoa! Part 1 was awesome. Part 2 just didn't know where the hell.
You're right.
Part 2 just didn't know what audience it was going after.
Yeah, and it's like we want to introduce the Sinister Six, but we're not. But we're kind of. But we're not gonna.
Yeah.
And the villains were like,
come on, though.
Why is the Rhino?
It's just
like
Rhino.
this?
It's just Rhino that's just pissing everybody off.
And
I'm a killer.
I think it's Andrew that plays such a good part as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you watch No Way Home, you feel how he invests so much of his character into his role, and he was so funny too. Yeah. He's so likable at his presence. Bring it back for Amazing Spider-Man 3. Bring him back. We all want to see that.
Do you know who was supposed to be the villain for Spider-Man 4?
Kraven the Hunter?
No. It was going to be the Vulture.
Okay. Vulture.
You know who was originally supposed to be was being tapped to be the Vulture?
No.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich.
Yes.
What?
And everybody who hears that name instantly sees it because it's exactly how the comic book version looks.
I can see him being that kind of villain. Yes.
I mean, Michael Keaton was great. I mean, for the MCU version, but for Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, perfect cast. Perfect. That would have been perfect. But it kind of still upset me though because the whole tease with the Lizard in all the Spider-Man movies. It's like, damn, when you're gonna build, if we were still in this Tobey Maguire era, if they were still making those movies, when were you planning on cracking that gem and having that teacher become the Lizard? Or maybe on part 5 or part 6,
probably.
Maybe a part 5 and then the Sinister Six for Spider-Man 6. Maybe that would have been the ultimate direction. So you would have the Vulture, in part 4, Lizard finally in part 5, and the Sinister Six Spider-Man.
I think you hit it right there. Yeah,
I did. I mean, let's open up the portal to that universe where that actually happened.
Yeah,
because I would have loved to have seen that.
But you would have seen like 3 more movies of his girlfriend being in peril.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst being dangled from something and then drops. Choose. But
Spider-Man saved me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Like, how the hell do you keep winding up? Every girl and all the Spider-Man.
Every girl. Yeah. Spider-Man saved.
What? No, the MJ in the MCU, did she get dangled? Didn't happen in No Way Home. Well, they were up. They were up high.
She fell.
Yeah.
And Andrew saved her.
Yeah. What about?
Besides that, there's been times. What was the Washington Monument? And Spider-Man had to go save everybody.
They were up high again. Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
And then
he's a wall crawler.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Phoebe says Tom Holland all the way.
I mean, you know they're gonna make more Tom Holland movies.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a Spider-Man 4 of the Home trilogy, whatever name you're gonna put it. The Home trilogy.
And if you want to have watch I'm gonna segmentize it. If you want to hear a good conversation that happened in last episode of T3 Meetings between me and Daniel about Morbius and the plot that happened there with and whatnot, because I heard about what people are kind of upset about the magic spell thing with No Way Home and stuff, something that didn't make sense that was done in Morbius and whatnot. Watch that conversation. I've segmentized it, so later after this it'll be its own little video. But if you want to watch the whole thing, it's on the last episode. It was a pretty good conversation. But
you have seen Morbius?
No, I have not. But I did watch. On YouTube, I watched the end credit scene. I saw the thing that everybody was upset about because I'm still debating on whether or not I even want to see it. So I didn't care about spoiling myself on it. But I won't spoil anything for you guys.
Would you recommend it for you?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but after watching that end credit scene. The thing I said was without giving away anything. The thing I said was this: with the thing that everybody is upset with about Morbius, it conflicts with the logic that happened in No Way Home. My argument is, it makes the title No Way Home make sense. If they would have, obviously it was a situation where maybe this was the part of the plan for No Way Home. Then somewhere down the line, Sony decided to change it. They changed it for No Way Home, but they didn't change it for Morbius. And now there's a conflict. Like, that doesn't make sense. That the magic doesn't work that way. Didn't work that way. But it makes I know out of context, you're looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? But once you see the movie and once you see what the problem is, to me, it makes the title No Way Home make more sense. It was obvious because it's one of those things because remember before No Way Home came out, everybody speculated, is Peter gonna go to get trapped or something like that, and he'll have no way home? It's kind of on that kind of a line. Without giving too much away, the plot hole in Morbius makes the title make more sense. But that's all I'll say.
I think I know what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah. But just in case if there's somebody else who didn't watch it and doesn't want to be spoiled, I won't go too much into detail on it.
Yeah, I think I know what you're trying to tell me. Yeah. Only watch the uncredited scene for Morbius.
For Morbius.
That's it.
Yeah, just watch that.
That's exactly. It. That's all you gotta do. Watch the uncredited scene.
Just watch the uncredited scene, get upset, and then a lot of things could make sense, but they still kind of don't.
Yeah, then why don't I just do that and just forget the whole movie?
Forget the whole movie. But guys, let us know what you guys think about a possible Spider-Man 4. Share your thoughts on it. We'll talk about it a little bit more. We're gonna try to go through this because we are up late, as you guys can see. We're streaming late.
New movie.
But I love the fact that the cameras are a lot sharper. So I got the camera a lot closer to my face. So I know you guys are appreciating all the sharpness here. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You see
America.
all individual, hairs on your beard, right?
How dare you? How dare you? But moving on to the last topic of conversation. This is it. All right, game time.
Yes.
Game time, guys. Okay, we just went to the movies before. The reason why we started the show so late was because we went to go see Sonic 2.
Yes,
and I asked my wife. I said, "Joy, you want to come with us and watch Sonic 2?" She said, "Not even a little bit." She didn't see part 1, so she didn't want to see part 2.
Oh,
and my wife sometimes hates. She loves comedy, but she hates fun. I don't know. Make that make sense. I hate people, but I love gatherings.
It doesn't.
But we saw Sonic 2. We're gonna cut this into 2 parts. We're gonna have a non-spoiler conversation, and then I'm gonna warn you. We're gonna get into full spoilers. So when I give the warning, when I wave my hands or say it's spoiler time, we're gonna do
spoiler.
This and what we're doing right now might be a little spoiler because anyway. Then you guys can check out, but bring your asses right back so we can finish the stream.
After the spoiler.
So hit the like button
and
come back. If you haven't hit the like button, what the hell? But
we're gonna have to let them know after the spoiler. Like we're done with spoilers now. Right?
Mr. Cosplay has been watching. That's Daniel. Hey, Daniel. So, Sonic 2, Electric Boogaloo. What did you think about that film? Let's get your thoughts on it first.
I loved Electric Boogaloo. If you've seen the first Sonic, you know that it's really just a fun movie and fun for the whole family, fun for everyone. And I really feel like this sequel, I think it did the character justice and
Blue Justice.
And it's honestly, I had such a fun time at the movies, and I wrote some things here about it.
Okay.
It's a very good movie, just as good or even better than the first. It's really funny, lighthearted movie with jokes that will make you laugh throughout, and also some good emotional moments as well. And the action is very good as well, particularly in the final act. And you have some new characters like Tails and Knuckles. And I feel like they do the characters great, and I would really recommend this movie for anyone. Really, I'm gonna invite my sister. I invite your whole family. It's just a fun movie, and the standout, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey he's back, and he's so funny as Dr. Robotnik, and most of his jokes land. I love his goofy presence. I love seeing him as this wacky villain, and I could not keep my eyes off of it. It was awesome. I loved it. So, what were your thoughts?
I thought this movie was No, I'm joking. This movie was awesome. Movie was awesome. I thought that I couldn't get enough of. On the way back home, we said this is a situation where it's like Jim Carrey Unleashed. Where they let him be himself. It felt like the vintage Jim Carrey from. I wouldn't have if you would have showed me this movie back in the '90s, right after The Mask, right after Ace Ventura, and whatnot. It felt like it was in line with that. With that,
right in
Jim
like
Carrey.
the late '90s,
before he went to his whole dramatic run, which I like, but it was in the late '90s feel for it, and. It made me a little sad to hear that he might be retiring, because I feel like he's just getting wound up. But as far as the movie, when I'm watching this, I'm thinking, oh, my kids. I try to put myself in how I felt as a kid, and then my kids. I said they're gonna love this more than the first one, and they love the first one. They're gonna and I also compared it to there's a cartoon called Sonic Boom. There was a lot of things that happened in this in this movie, that reminded me of that cartoon. And I won't go into details on it because it's the non-spoiler of it. But for example, the way we said that Jim Carrey was more animated in this one than he was even in the first one, if that's even possible, but it happened.
And there's a point in the movie that Jim Carrey just completely changes himself, and he was just hilarious.
Yeah, throughout the whole thing.
It's like you think he's wacky now. Oh no. Once this thing happens in the movie, bam, he's like a whole nother level of funny. And I loved it. It was so hilarious.
And I brought up the cartoon Sonic Boom. If you watch that cartoon, or if you're a fan of that series, I got the feeling that they might be going in that direction. And it's only how do I make this make sense? The way each character is portraying themselves, how Sonic acts, how Knuckles individually acts, how over the top, even with Jim Carrey being cast, makes a lot of sense if you know that cartoon series. So if you like wacky comedy with great action, with great stories, with that wholesome together with family
it has
dynamic,
a good message too.
Had that good message and everything too. Watch that cartoon series and watch Sonic 2. Watch all of it.
Watch Sonic 1, then Sonic 2, and you go and watch the Sonic Boom series.
Yeah, it's all being done perfectly. I feel like this is the cartoon franchise that the video game movie, franchise that's really being done right. It's loyal. It's being loyal to the source material, and it's being handled almost perfectly, flawlessly. There were a few things that the only thing that I didn't like about it was whenever they kind of got off topic, like and focused on things that they didn't need to focus on, and it kind of dragged like 5 or 10 minutes, a little too long. But we'll talk about that in the.
It kind of felt like it was derailing from the Sonic storyline too much. I'm like, am I still in a Sonic movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Here, I'm back in the Sonic.
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
Once the thing that derailed, once they derailed from the actual story, from the actual character Sonic and the main characters, and to focus on side characters a little too long, you kind of feel it once it crosses, like it should, like if it was a 10-minute scene, it should have been a 5-minute scene, and once it crossed that 5-minute mark, you started to feel it. Yeah. This is lasting. I'm focusing on these people too long. I don't like it. And get back to it.
Yeah, I feel like they gave them action scenes too when they really didn't need
to. Yeah,
give the I know we have human characters. We got to focus on the human characters, but
and they did that in part one a little bit, but not that long.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like they focus on the human characters that weren't the main human characters, and I'm like, who are these people? Yeah. And why should I care about them?
Right.
Oh, it's because they're being funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where in part one, where like the sister character, where she had funny parts and everything, and but it was timed perfectly. You come in, throw your funny lines in, get out. They did the same thing. They followed a lot of the same formulas that worked in part one, but they drug it out just a little too long, which is just a minor little 5-minute.
It's minor.
Yeah. 5-minute inconvenience, and that's about it.
But there's also some jokes that don't land, which it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there are some jokes that characters kind of like force out a joke. I'm like, okay, it's not really that funny, but I get it.
For every joke that didn't land,
there's
it was so few like that happened. There was so many that did.
There's so many,
and you'll just notice one or two that didn't, and it's fine. You're like, okay, man, wah wah. But you get over it once everything else starts back up again.
I like that the movie had a really big sense of adventure too. You're going to so many different, like, really cool locations in the movie that the first one did touch on, but this one they go. I don't want to spoil it, but they go some really cool places, especially the final act.
Yes,
it's so cool.
It makes sense if I was asking like right after the movie, I asked Gio, like, did you play all the video games, like the classic video games and the newer ones? And you said you played a few of them, but not the newer ones.
I love the original arcade. That's the one I played the most. That's when probably most people played the most was the original arcade. And I mean, there's a scene at the end where Sonic kind of does some of those things.
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
They tied in a lot of the canon from the original Sega games.
Yeah.
Part one was Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. And then I little by little I started to notice they were tying in some of the newer game stuff too. And I'm like, I think I know where this is going. So if you they're trying to give it all to you. If you're a hardcore fan of the old school Sonic games, you're getting everything that you saw in those games. Not everything, but you're getting a lot. Like from
You're getting what you want.
The maps, I could see the game kind of coming to life. Those old school games. Then I could see the new stuff like I was talking about the Sonic Boom series, the newer games. I'm starting to see. It feels like it's taking us down this journey of bringing to life the classic games and the newer stuff. It's moving down the timeline, and it's doing it in this great story, and it's just being very enjoyable. So if you're a fan of the original games and the newer games, there's something in here for all of you guys. So
definitely,
it's great.
And the number one thing is it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's just a really fun, enjoyable movie for the whole family. Bring your whole family to see it. You're all gonna love it.
Yeah,
really.
Number one movie this week, definitely.
Yes,
I think this is definitely gonna be it.
I have not laughed this hard. Well, okay, I have. The last time I laughed this hard was when I saw Jackass Forever, but that's a completely different movie.
Right. Yeah.
But I love this movie, so I'd say
go see it.
Yeah, go see it. I highly recommend it.
All right, now let's move on to a little bit of like 5 minutes spoiler territory.
Spoiler.
So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, mute or go and then come back.
Go away. No.
And then for about the next 5 minutes, we're gonna go into some spoiler territory.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you've been warned. Here we go. 3, 2. Wait, before we go, let me see. Daniel says. Well, that's that. 3, 2, 1. Now spoiler.
Don't
talk.
look at the comments.
Yeah. Now I can read that. We're in spoiler talk.
Did
now.
you even see the movie, Danny?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you did.
He goes. He probably didn't because I mean.
You looked up spoilers, didn't you?
You probably looked up spoilers. Okay. So what I was talking about earlier about how there's something in there for the newer game. When they had the end credit scene when they introduced
Shadow.
Well, yeah, when they introduced Shadow, that's there, and they mentioned that Robotnik had something very deep in his archives about something that
for
was
like 50 years.
from like something 50 years from something 50 years ago. Now you're not gonna you're not gonna convince me that the Jim Carrey character has been working with the military for 50 years. He's about around 50 himself, so that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. So this had to have been something that the military had already. Mm-hmm. So now this is a direct. Now you said you didn't play much of the newer games. This is a direct tie-in to some of the newer games when they started to introduce Shadow and things like that. The new 3D games. That Shadow is a military either creation or a prison. I'm thinking that since Shadow was already there, then I'm gonna assume that this is a visitor that probably came to Earth 50 years ago, and that the military has always known about
wraps,
it. Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So the military not being that surprised about Sonic in the first movie now kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
because they've always known that these things are out there because they have one. So it feels like they're gonna go a little bit into that direction. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Another thing. Oh, did you have anything to add about
the
that?
final act was just awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. Robotnik.
The big robot.
Yeah. I'm like, are we watching Power Rangers right now? This is so cool.
It felt like that at the end of the Power Rangers movie. It felt like when he was dancing a little bit in the robot.
Oh man. When Dr. Robotnik got the green emerald and he just everything he did was just so hilarious. Mm-hmm. And his voice changed and he was like doing little it was just so funny. I loved it.
It was like what's that other robot movie where you controlling the one that Idris Elba was in the first one but he wasn't in the second one. Where he's in the giant machine where two people had
Pacific Rim?
Yeah, Pacific. It felt Pacific Rim-ish. And Power Ranger-ish. It felt like that a little bit, but
I felt that too. Yeah.
But going into what we talk about, and I know that our 5 minutes is almost up. We're still talking spoilers, yo. So I know some people dipped out, and Daniel said I'll be back in 5 minutes. But so real quick, when we talked about how Jim Carrey was talking about maybe he was retiring. And I went into this movie thinking about that. I mean, maybe he warned Paramount that he might be thinking about this. He's like, I'm not going to sign a 5-movie deal or something.
Yeah. He's like, I'll do 2.
I'll do 2. Let's see what that happens with that. And then spoiler, we're still in spoiler talk. If Jim Carrey is retiring, he announced it at the perfect time, because if you watched it towards the end, this could be the end of Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, it could be.
But I have a prediction that his assistant will become the new robot, because he was very silly in the first one as well. And his loyalty to Eggman and his undying loyalty.
Oh, it was.
So I feel
so
like
good to
he's
see. Yeah.
a protege. Maybe he's working with Jim Carrey personally to learn his mannerisms and all of his Jim Carrey. He's not going to be able to replace or do it the way Jim Carrey does it. But I feel like he's funny enough in the movie.
Yeah.
He is studying. He's the Sith apprentice.
Yes, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's doing a great job learning from the master.
Yes.
And I feel like if
Jim
Jim Carrey retires, I feel like I'll be okay with him being the new Eggman. What do you think about that theory?
I think I agree. It's just that I also think that, I mean, his assistant knows about Dr. Robotnik's technology.
Yeah.
And if he knows how...
He's reading the manual.
Yes, he's not reading the manual. He can control the robots.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And it's at the end,
He just
when
has to
he
grow that
reveals
mustache
himself as that he's still there.
He's still there.
Yes.
So if Jim Carrey doesn't come back, I feel like I'm okay with this guy becoming the new Eggman.
Yeah, and
Yes,
I
sir.
feel like when the third one comes out, I feel like it will be more about the government going against Sonic with Shadow.
Which, if you like I was saying earlier, if you played the newer games, that's something directly that happens in one of those games where Shadow is introduced, where it's like Sonic. It's the Sonic Adventure game when they went 3D. Chaos Emeralds and all that stuff. Government stuff is in there too. It gets kind of wild.
Yeah.
So
Gold Sonic, awesome.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, Super
Gold
Sonic. How awesome is that?
Man.
So okay. All right. So
We're back.
that's all we're gonna say about that. That was our spoiler review. So comment below. Let me know if you've seen the movie. You want to talk about those spoilers. Just put a comment below. Let's keep talking about that, and then maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more as more people watch the movie. So send your non-spoiler and spoiler, conversation. Depending on which segment you're watching, because I'm gonna split this up into two different parts. So all right, we're
done with spoilers.
Done with spoilers. Done with all that. Anything else that we want to discuss? That was pretty much everything. Was that the last topic?
I think that was the last topic.
That was the last topic. I said on Thursdays, there's one last thing that I do that I'm going to start doing from now on. Like yesterday we did discussions of movies that came out 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and 30 years ago. That's on Wednesday. On Thursdays, what I'm going to introduce is Bizarre Hollywood Story. So,
Our Hollywood Story.
Yeah, I was going to have the graphic up, but since we went to the movie, I didn't have the graphic up. So I looked up something. And I want to know if you've heard about this. Let me see. I have the screenshot. Okay, here's an interesting story. For those of you who've ever seen the movie, remember American Sniper, starring Bradley Cooper. It's something I looked up. Okay, in the movie American Sniper in 2012, about Iraqi war veteran Chris Koch, he was portrayed as being haunted by having the highest kill count of any sniper in U.S. history. In real life, Kyle had no regrets. In his memoir, Kyle described killing as fun and something he loved. He says, I hate the damn savages. I couldn't give a flying bloop about the Iraqis. That was the real guy's quote. The reason why I chose that as my bizarre Hollywood story is because I worked in Iraq for the military for like 6 years back in the 2000s. I met a soldier. I used to work in the gym and the morale, welfare, recreation, all the recreation stuff. I used to work over in the gyms, their rec centers and stuff like that. We even had a movie theater. It was fun. I met a soldier who used to go outside the wire and come back and do the missions out there, did runs. And he had a conversation with me about stuff like that. He said, just because he I guess, I don't know, felt comfortable
with you.
He told me that on his convoy, when his convoy was going in one direction and there was maybe a local, this is a regular civilian, not a fighter, a farmer probably, could have been anybody, coming the opposite direction in a vehicle, he would purposely take a shot at that vehicle, at what he was. I said, wait, you would hit them? He's like, no, I would aim at the top corner of their window. I'm like, well, dude, you could have killed him. He's like, I don't care. Dude, I don't give it. I won't. So I've met at least one dude that was like that. Did not care that he was escalating. I'm like, you would hear that all the time. Like, to them, we were the invaders. This was their land. There was a base that we worked in. There were farmers all around us. People that they weren't a part of Al Qaeda. They weren't a part of it. They were just regular people just living their lives. That were living under the threat of Al Qaeda, and the Americans were supposed to be there to help. I'm like, dude, how do you know you're not turning him to the enemy? And then, with you doing that stuff, like, you could be making it worse inadvertently.
You don't kill for sport.
Yeah, you don't do that.
No.
And that was his answer. I don't care. I don't. So yeah. So when it comes
to be evaluated.
Yeah. So when it came to hearing that bizarre story about that character,
that's
Kyle,
crazy
that Bradley, because the movie portrayed him as a guy that didn't. There was a scene in that movie where it's like, are you a wolf or are you a sheep or you're supposed to be a protector? He was like being raised to be a good American guy who's protecting the innocent. But according to his own memoir, he didn't give a damn about that. So that's my bizarre Hollywood story. If I would have given you a heads up more, I would have told you to.
No, he didn't tell me about this at all.
At all, yeah. It's something new that I'm doing with the show for Thursdays. Bizarre Hollywood stories. So next week, if you're here on Thursday, bizarre Hollywood story. So if you guys have a bizarre,
I'll think of one too. So.
Exactly. So if you guys know of anything from that's bizarre that you want us to cover, send it to us, man. I want to talk about these bizarre, true stories. Like, oh my God, I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know that the first time Hitler was ever portrayed on screen was in the Three Stooges. Stuff like that. Like, send them up. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, send them in whatever these bizarre stories, and we'll talk about that. And then on Fridays. I forgot what I had set up for Fridays, but it's going to be something for Wednesdays, it's movies from yesteryear, from 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old. Thursday, bizarre Hollywood stories, and Fridays, box office predictions. That's what we're going to talk about. So we'll say that. So a little something at the end to wrap up.
We'll always try to catch up on newer movies too. There's a lot of big movies coming out really soon.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the show, guys. I appreciate you guys for having this conversation with us. I appreciate you guys in the chat room and for let's see what they're saying. Let me pull it up again. Where's that's great.
Good point.
What? Why is it not showing up? Chat box disappeared on me. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, I'm here.
Let's see if I can bring it up.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, the chat box disappeared. Is it time? That's weird. But yeah, he says, Daniel, I'll see you in 5 minutes. I was talking about
Pacific Rim.
Daniel Dyer, Pacific Rim, we were talking about that. Some of you guys are probably on a little delay catching up. And then, Phoebe got that story discussed me. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to have it displayed right here, but for some reason the display's not working anymore. I wonder if it's tied. Let me see if there's a refresh. Oh, I guess it's not working. Sorry about that. I like to have it out so where you guys can see it. But anyway, that's the show, guys. I appreciate you guys for talking with us. I appreciate you guys in the live chat. So don't forget, hit that like button. Send us your questions, your thoughts, and concerns about all the things that we talked about. If you have something to contribute to, we appreciate if you could, if you can help out the channel in any way. We appreciate your support. But even if it's just a thumbs up, we appreciate that too, because every little bit helps. Guys, I'm Chris Fagan. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at Chris W. Fagan on all the social medias or at T3 Medias. I monitor all those things. And you can tell me how you love how the shine is glowing in the background. And I want to thank my friend Giovanni. Guys, if you want to reach out to Giovanni, where can they reach out to you online? Let's do the shameless plug.
The shameless plug is at the Unoriginal Comics on all the social media. We got YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. We release videos at least, I think, twice every week by now. Mm-hmm. And we're always putting out new funny skits for all of you to enjoy. And I will be here next week.
Right. And I want to collaborate with you on some of those skits that you do. I'm a little bit of a scientist myself, so I might have something to contribute to that on. So guys,
I think we can work something out.
Yeah, we'll have my people call your people. We'll figure it out. We'll get the logistics out of the way. Guys, appreciate you guys for talking with us. And until next time, guys, take care of yourself, your mental health, and let's keep talking. All right, have a good one.
my bottle bubbling.